What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a reaction to Five for Fighting and their album, The Battle for Everything, brought to us by friend, longtime supporter, and patron of the channel, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons that make this thing go. If you like to support us anyway, check out the Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. All right, I only know 2 songs for Five for Fighting, so I kind of learned a lot when I did research on this album. John Ondrazik III, also known by his stage name Five for Fighting. So this is one person, right? He's an American singer, songwriter, and pianist. He has 6 studio albums, 1 EP, and several live albums. His song Superman, which is fantastic, right, was nominated for a Grammy in 2002. He has had songs featured in 350 films, TV shows, and advertisements. That pays well, boys and girls. In 1995, he signed with EMI Records. He adopted Five for Fighting as a band name that same year at the request of EMI executives who found Ondrazik's, I'm probably saying his name wrong, it kind of proves the point, right? Name difficult to pronounce. Five for Fighting is an ice hockey expression that means a 5-minute major penalty for participating in a fight. He's a lifelong fan of the NHL's Los Angeles Kings. I always wondered what that meant. I mean, it's a cool name, right? This is his 3rd studio album, released in February of 2004 by Aware Records and Columbia Records. Following the success of America Town and its breakthrough single, Superman, It's Not Easy, in 2001, he re-teamed with producer Greg Wattenberg and brought in Bill Bottrell to work on new material for his next record. Bill does a lot of stuff with Sheryl Crow. The album was certified platinum with sales of over 1 million copies. The album's title refers to the fact that he said, quote, that nothing in the making of this record came easy, including concerning over the title itself. On the influences behind the battle and its recording, he said, when I was a kid, I could put on Dark Side of the Moon, turn up the sound in my headphones, lie down in the dark, and go away. I wanted that experience again, and so Bill and I were ambitious to the point of absurdity. If we wanted drama, we get a 30-piece orchestra. If we wanted a rock edge, we went after it with reckless abandonment. So I do in my own private quadrophenia, which, by the way, I have a review up of. But all right, man. I mean, those are great stuff. All songs are written by John, except where noted. There is not a lot of research out there on this album. I tried to read a bunch of things on it. There just wasn't a lot out there, but I'm sure that the lyrics will speak for themselves. Though the music will not be in this video, but it will be at a Vimeo link below, so follow along. Let's jump into it. We're going to start out with NYC Weather Report, written by, I'm just going to say Five for Five, or John, so I don't mess up his name, right? Written by John, Kurt Schneider, and Andrew Williams. I'll have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Robert. All right, NYC Weather Report. Really good opening track, right? The arrangement was fantastic. His voice is so good. John's voice is so good. And the arrangement fits his voice as his other 2 songs. I know one of them will be on this album. I really do. And you know, I think it's NYC Weather Report. He lives in New York. He loves it, but he's kind of talking about his friends. And I think it's kind of like he's caught in a rut and he's got to get out of there to kind of change his life because he probably doesn't like the direction that it's going. Got to get away from all these choosers, losers. All my best of friends. Sit back, New York City. You're not cute, but you're oh so pretty. When the rain comes, you fall up against Sunny. You are a part of me. Sunny, you are the heart of me. We got to get away from here. And like he just kind of keeps going through. Got to get away from expectations, recreations, just for the sake of it. So I think he loves New York City. I think it's a diss at New York City. But just everything in his life there, I think he wants to start over and break away. He's not going to be able to do that unless he gets out of there. Next up, we have The Devil in the Wishing Well. Quite an interesting title. The Devil in the Wishing Well. Good strings on this one. The ambiance was good. I'm not going to pretend I know what this song's about, right? I've read lyrics to thousands and thousands and thousands of songs throughout the life of this channel, and sometimes you just don't know. And I have no idea. I mean, Jane must be the girl who he's infatuated with because she's telling him all these things. But, you know, so go right. You'll be left at a big hotel. You meet the devil at the bottom of a wishing well. You know you better give him something good. Like everybody else, he's misunderstood. And then, you know, later on, I got a ride at some big hotel. There was a devil at the bottom of the wishing well. He said, you better give me something good. And then the outro is puzzling too, kind of like he took a portion of his heart, gave it to him. He said, I've seen this before. It's a damn good start. And then he took him in his arms. As I took him in my arms, he screamed, I'm not insane. I'm just looking for someone to understand my pain. So maybe that we're all in pain. I don't know, from different things. I don't know. Maybe some of you know, so I'll let you guys clue me in on that. We're going from The Devil in the Wishing Well to If God Made You. Okay, If God Made You. Once again, the arrangement fits John's voice perfectly, and a clever little wordplay in the song, because it's about he's infatuated with this girl, he loves her, and I'm not sure, she might be thinking about leaving by a couple of those lines in there, but he's basically saying, if God made you, then he's in love with me, because of course, he's infatuated with this girl and he loves her. So if God made her, then God must love him so much because she is everything to this guy. So a clever little way of writing. And now we're going to get to the huge song off here, 100 Years. So the lead single only went to 28 in the US, but this song was everywhere. Trust me, I lived through it. It did sell over 1 million copies. It did spend 12 non-consecutive weeks at #1 on the adult contemporary chart. I used to love this song in my early 30s. Now I'm in my early 50s. I think it's going to hit different. I haven't heard it in a while. 100 Years. I know this song well, but I haven't heard it in forever. It's just different when you're listening to it in the headphones, reading the lyrics and kind of reflecting on your own life. I'm 52 years old. There's a cliche you're told when you're younger, time goes really fast. Older people tell you that, and you're like, yeah, man, it seems like time's going pretty slow. And then all of a sudden, there's just this switch that flips, and you don't realize it. And then time goes really fast, and you look back and go, how am I 30? How am I 40? And for me, oh my goodness, how am I 50, 51, almost 52? How does that happen? And you reflect back on your life, and I mean, that's what this song is. I'm 15 for a moment. I'm just dreaming. So like the whole world's in front of you. Then he's 22. She feels better than ever. We're on fire, making our way back from Mars. That young love, that passion. And then that chorus is so good. There's never a wish better than this when you only got 100 years to live. Then he's 33 for a moment. I'm still the man, but you see I'm a kid on the way, a family on my mind. Then he's 45. This is really clever writing. The sea is high and I'm headed into a crisis, chasing the years of my life. And then half time goes by. Suddenly you're wise. Another blink of the eye. 67 is gone. The sun is getting high. We're moving on. Then he's 99 for a moment, dying for just another moment. And I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. So maybe he's going to go see his significant other who's already gone. But this song is just fantastic. It was fantastic back when. I like it even more now. Next up, we have Angels and Girlfriends. Angels and Girlfriends. Prominent harmonic on here, which I did not expect. Some more pumped up instrumentation. John's singing this song with a little more gusto, I guess, which I don't know if I've ever used that word in my life, but here you go. And I think basically it's about this girl who's kind of coming on to him and telling him, I'm going to be the one. And he's like, I don't think so, man. And then as it flips, I think that he ends up falling for her, yet he doesn't want to. But girlfriends never fall for fun. They can tie you up, make you come undone. You can learn to fly, but you can't create her. And then, he gets into even a little sexual innuendos here from John, which I didn't expect. But girlfriends never fall for fun. They can tear you up, make you come undone. And he gets that harmonica bridge in there. If you go, you may never come back again. She's my only love. She's my only friend. And for that, there was no kind of protection. And angels never come for free, if you know what I mean. First, you will hate to love, and then you love to hate her. So it kind of turns around and around, as relationships do. Now we're up to the song Dying. Dying. Perfect arrangement on this really well-written song, because it starts out, he's dying to wake up without you in my head again, because all I can do is think about her. Dying to forget about you, that you ever lived. There's a shade come over this heart that's coping with laying down to rest. I'm dying to live without you again. Verse 2, he's trying to find a distraction, anything to kind of take his mind off of what went wrong. It's the same old story of love and glory that broke before it bent. I'm dying to live without you again. And the first time you left, I said goodbye, and now there's not a prayer that can survive. And then he's like, then verse 3, dying to die just to come back so we can meet again. Dying to say what I always should have said, so he wants a do-over, right? It's a strange emotion, but there's still hope in this. As long as there's a breath, I'm dying and I can't live without you again. So he's going with, I just can't, I want to get you out of my head now. He's like, I can't, but there's still hope because we're still here on this earth. So a really well-written song. Next up, there's no Bob Dylan here, but we got Infidel. Infidel. Another one with a lot of biblical allusions throughout this album, right? Heaven fell from my sky tonight. There were virgins in my backyard chasing angels with fire sticks. Heaven fell on herself tonight. And Moses lay in pieces from some 17-year-old bomb. Here we go. Someone's knocking at my window. Here I go. I didn't ask for this stuff. I didn't ask for it. So just saying, and the whole damn world invited themselves to my Sunday barbecue. Heaven fell and it's not all right. So just all these different allusions. So I don't know if he just doesn't like all these people around him, all these kind of people who he doesn't really like, or what he's getting at exactly. Just kind of the world is burning down to a certain extent. I don't know, but a little less restrained on the vocal performance. little more guitar in there, a lot more acoustic, but hard acoustic in there. Now we got Disneyland. So Disneyland, a love song around the motif of Disney with shout outs in here to all kinds of things, with Tomorrowland and Peter Pan and It's a Small World, Mickey Mouse. And well, we fight about the Lakers. So imagine this dream world, right? Like Disneyland is when you're inside of it, right? And you have no other worries. It's just this magical place where there are no other issues, where he's in love with this girl and they can be together forever and no one argues and there's no issues. While the Crocs sing Superman till we just can't take it. So a little shout out to his own song. So that was pretty clever in there, but it's a nice day when you wake up in Disneyland. A clever way to write a love song. Next up, we have Maybe I. Maybe I. I think it's about John. Didn't really think love was for him, but now he's kind of folding out through this song that there's this girl, you were right, you came over me, would never have been seen before. You slid under my door, and now I find a reason to admit I've been too lazy. He's just talking about all these things I'm starting to believe. Maybe I'm not so easily stunned. Maybe I got love for someone. Maybe I'm not the story for you. Maybe I'll be the one. Maybe I'll be the do you ought to do. But at the end, he says, I'm just the story for you, instead of I'm not the story for you. So it evolves throughout the song, and he's realizing, then I'll write a story for two. So he goes from this like, no, I can't find love, that's not it, to maybe I'm him. And then it is me, I'll write a story for two. I thought the harmonizing chorus and the callback was really good with those background vocalists, which there's one or two other songs he had a little bit of background vocals, but usually it's just him. But I thought his voice and his style is very suited for this song. Really good job. Got 3 songs left. Next up, The Taste. The Taste. Once again, some biblical allusions here. Not necessarily the biblical stuff or spiritual stuff that's mentioned in this album. It's not necessarily in a positive light or a negative light. It's kind of hard to figure out. I did try to look up there if John was a Christian. As of 2009, he was a seeker. In other words, he was seeking the truth, but he wasn't a professed Christian. So when he's writing this album, I'm going to assume obviously that was the same thing. I mean, I'm a Christian, so that's why I looked at it through that lens. I was just curious. But this song itself, just doesn't work for me. I don't like the arrangement. Now, the problem is I don't want to just get into this thing where I like Superman in 100 years and maybe that's all he can sing, because it's not true. He's got a really good voice. I just thought this arrangement was all over the place, so it didn't really work for me. Next up, we got the other song that wasn't just written by John. We got One More for Love, also written with Kurt Schneider and Andrew Williams, who were his co-writers on the opener, New York City Weather Report, and also Bill Bottrell in here, one of the producers. All right, One More for Love. I think it's written the fact that it didn't work out with him and this girl, but he has hope that it could still work out with someone. If not this girl, so you go out, I'll go on. If there's a doubt, we'll be strong. And we go on singing One More for Love, my love, one more for love. There's always blood to feel the heart betrayed. There are children being born to every house that's raised, and we're getting closer to where we got it made as we roll on tonight. So you go out, I'll go on. So I'm never going to wait for anything, never going to break for anything, because I am one more for love, for love. So I don't know. I don't know. He's either still with her or they broke up, but he still has faith in the love. But suited his voice nicely. Great piano playing. All right, we got 1 song left, and it happens to be the longest song on this album. It's Nobody. All right, Nobody. Lots of play on words, right? I'm nobody, I'm nobody, I'm nobody without you, buddy. You, buddy, my long lost friend. So I think he's writing it to just a friend of his, but then later on, you kind of figure out he's maybe writing to a girl, because in verse 3, kind of throwback to some other songs, right? Heaven fell on herself tonight as the devil met me in the wishing well. So throwback to lyrics from previous songs. In that moment, I find myself knowing that in the end, it's just about you and me, nothing smaller or nothing larger. And he kind of just brings all that as fear is truly the mind killer. When nothing is left, everything is gained. You see, I wish I was a poet, but I know as we go round and round, though endings are never, ever happy, it's the happy moments along the way that in the end make it okay. You see, I'm nobody without you, without you. So a good way to end this album. Like I really like the way the instrumentation built on this. It's almost a soaring instrumentation. John sounds fantastic on this one. Now we get to my favorite tracks. Honorable mention, we'll go with Dying and this last song, Nobody. My faves are going to be New York City Weather Report, the opener. I thought that was fantastic. Of course, 100 Years, I knew it, but this song still stands up. It's fantastic. And Maybe I. Now we'll get to my overall score on this album. 12 tracks, 48 minutes. like so many things back in this time. Probably could have been a little bit shorter, maybe 10 songs, 40 minutes, but just kind of nitpicking there. But I thought overall the album was really good. I think John's voice is fantastic. I'm surprised that he didn't have a few more hits, but music was changing so quickly at this time. But, a really good album, very consistent. I'm going to be in at a 7.0 on this one. It's definitely worth a listen. There's a few songs on here that I will pull out and listen to on repeat, especially 100 Years, which I haven't listened to in forever. Thank you to Robert for bringing this one to me. Thanks everybody for watching. Let me know your thoughts below, your favorite songs in the comments. Until next time, guys, I will see you.